What's up everyone, Raphael here, AppleAddress, addressing all things Apple Inc. It's been a minute since my last video. I was under the weather, negative for COVID, negative for the flu, but I had flu-like symptoms, which was weird. So comment below if you've caught this bug thing that's been going around. But anyway, I had the Mac Studio and the Studio Display for a little over 2 weeks now, and wanted to give you all my real world impression. First of all, the Mac Studio is such a sleek, aesthetically pleasing, simple steel box. The width and the length of the Mac Studio is 7.7 inches with the height measuring at 3.7 inches. The base model weighs about 4 to 5 pounds. The M1 Ultra weighs more, and that's based on the heavy heat sink in the back of the machine. Okay, let's address the pros and cons of the Mac Studio. Let's start with the cons. Now, according to several reviews, the M1 Max version of the Studio doesn't outperform the M1 Max base version of the MacBook Pro by much. I haven't tested this, but there are several videos establishing a slight difference in performance of the same chip when you compare it to the Mac Studio and the MacBook M1 Max. Con number 2, you must purchase a keyboard and mouse if you don't have them already. You will run into issues if you don't have a dedicated Apple mouse or keyboard. I thought I could use my MX Master 3 by way of Bluetooth. No. Then I tried the Magic Mouse from my old iMac, my 2020 iMac. That didn't work. So I just happened to have my old Logitech M185 with the USB-C nano receiver, and success. Plug it in the back of the Mac Studio, recognized, everything was good to go. That took about 15 to 30 minutes. So again, use a mouse with a USB receiver to connect to your Mac Studio and you're off to the races. Now, con number 3, although Apple stated that the Mac Studio is modular, it's not user upgradable after purchase. So make sure you choose the right configurations at checkout before you click the buy button. First, choose the right M1 chip for your needs, M1 Max or M1 Ultra. Honestly, for 99% of you, yes, 99% of you, the M1 Max contains enough power to handle all of your needs. The M1 Max base chip with the 10-core CPU and 24-core GPU, 16-core neural engine, is plenty of processing power. Choose the right memory. 32 gigabytes of unified memory is enough, but if you can afford the extra $400 instead of purchasing the height and tilt adjustable stand for $400, use that money to purchase 64 gigabytes of memory, and that would be the sweet spot. Finally, storage. I have the base 512 SSD storage. I think that'll be plenty for me. I like to store the majority of my files and video clips on an external hard drive, or an external SSD. But if you want for $200 more, you can get plenty of storage for 1 terabyte. There's a small percentage of individuals who need the processing power of the Ultra chip. I mean, you can spec this thing out for close to upwards of $8,000. Again, 99% of you won't need that much machine. Now let's get into the pros. The M1 Max chip is an impressive processor with great performance. I'm switching from a base model Intel 27-inch iMac to the M1 Max. There's no comparison. Apps open and run faster, macOS is snappier, And Final Cut Pro, especially with the new software update that just happened recently, it makes editing videos a breeze. I started running into editing issues with my 27-inch iMac with beach balls and just throwing 4K video at it, and now I have not had that problem since I purchased the Mac Studio. Okay, another pro. Although it doesn't have a small form factor as the Mac Mini, this beefier, taller Mac Mini has a sleek portable design. Portable, yes, portable. If you don't have a laptop, or if you can't complete a certain task using an iPad, you could pack the Studio, keyboard, mouse with you in a bag and take it with you to your next destination if you have a display waiting for you at that destination. You might think that's crazy, who would travel with this thing, but you'd be surprised. Another pro, lots of ports. Ports on top of ports. In the front, you have the two USB-C or Thunderbolt 4 ports for the Ultra model and one SDXC card slot for your camera footage. Now on the back, 4 Thunderbolt ports, additional 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports, one 10 gigabit Ethernet, 2 USB-A, one HDMI for your TV, one 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, making this new computer a true pro machine. You can connect just about anything to the Mac Studio. TV monitors, additional SSD storages. You have ports everywhere. No one should be complaining about ports this year. Okay, who is this computer for? This new computer has the processing power to handle big tasks, from huge editing projects to medical imaging, animation, etc. This machine is for professional studios, sound engineers, videographers, animators, and digital artists. The Mac Studio is capable of handling the workload and at the same time look great sitting on your desk. With that said, here's my real world impression. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm your usual computer user. I check my email, surf the web, binge watch YouTube videos. I also create and edit my YouTube videos for my channel. Please like, subscribe, and hit that like button, notification bell. I also create my thumbnails and I create content for my website, AppleAddress.com. So be sure to check out my website. As I mentioned before, I'm switching from an Intel-based model 27-inch iMac to the M1 Max Mac Studio. The biggest difference I've experienced is the Final Cut Pro performance. I began to get beach balls, as I said before, on my old iMac, and the export times were slower when compared to the Mac Studio. So I'm very pleased with the Mac Studio and I plan to keep it for several years. Well, that's if Apple does not come out with the new 27-inch iMac, if it's aesthetically pleasing. If it has the chin, I don't want it. Honestly, this setup, the Mac Studio and the Studio Display, is the new 27-inch iMac, basically. Speaking of the Studio Display, let's address Apple's new Studio monitor. This is the most controversial monitor ever. Let's discuss the pros and cons. So here are the cons. The stand. Don't get me wrong. I like the regular stand. It looks great. The height of the regular stand is too low. You really need a monitor stand or a riser. Really lift the monitor up to a comfortable height. Apple should have created one option, a height and adjustable stand, and just add $250 to that price, not $400. But no, in typical Apple fashion, they gotta charge you $400 to add the tilt and height adjustable stand. Now don't get me wrong, I wanted that stand, but it was pushed back so many times that I just canceled it and got the regular stand. Con number 2, the camera is not high quality. Apple recently released a new software beta to upgrade the quality of the camera. I haven't downloaded it because you have to download the beta version of macOS Monterey first before you download the camera update, and I don't want to do all that to my main machine. I don't want to download the beta. So I guess I'll have to wait to notice a difference whenever they push out the actual update. But observing the videos of different reviewers, especially Patel from The Verge, the quality looks better. But honestly, this is a huge disappointment. Apple really dropped the ball shipping the camera in this monitor based on the price and the build quality. All right, here are the pros. The aesthetics. This monitor looks good. The build quality is second to none. Steel, not plastic. Steel casing all around. Perforated holes at the top for the fans. Also at the bottom for the speakers. And speaking of speakers, pro number 2. The average person who's not a studio professional but want a really nice monitor without purchasing monitor speakers will be extremely happy with the speaker performance in this monitor. The sound is really great. I'm not an audiophile, but the highs are crisp and the bass is just right without any adjustments. Pro number 3, 5K, 5K, 5K. There aren't many 5K monitors that has the same aesthetics, same build quality, speaker performance. Don't get me wrong, there are a few monitors out there that outperform the Studio Display when comparing pixel and contrast ratios, but the 600 nits of brightness and all the other panel technology built into the display makes this monitor a top choice for consumers. So, who should buy this monitor? True Apple fans will buy this monitor if they're in the market or just want the new hotness, right? I really can't justify the price or convince someone in my family to buy this monitor if they don't understand why it's priced so high. If you can get over the shock of the sticker price, the fact that there isn't an adjustable stand or decent webcam, but you really like the look of the monitor, and let's be honest, you want a really nice computer and monitor greeting you and providing that inspiration every day when you sit down at your desk ready to work. If you value pixels, webcam, and don't care about the build quality, you just want a good monitor for less, this monitor is not for you. My real world impressions after 2 weeks with this monitor, I love it. The monitor and the Mac Studio. I love it for all of the positives I mentioned, and the cons really doesn't bother me. I don't use the camera that much. Most of my Zoom meetings take place at my day job. The height issue by using a monitor stand or riser, that takes care of that issue. The monitor is simple, sleek, stylish, again, aesthetically pleasing. You don't need a power button. Shut down the Mac Studio and then the monitor shuts down. If the monitor is asleep, finger on the Touch ID keyboard instantly wakes. The past 2 weeks have been great, no complaints at all. I think it's a great investment, especially for content creators and professionals. If you're an average user, don't buy the Mac Studio. Apple's M1 lineup, the Mac Mini, MacBook Air, M1 Mac are great options for great price points. The monitor recommendations, that's a different decision, and it's based on your want and needs. Well, I hope you liked the video. I hope that I provided some information that would help you make a decision on whether you should buy the Mac Studio or the Studio Display. I would really appreciate a like and click that subscribe button and give me a comment below. Let me know where you stand. Do you like the Studio Display, the Mac Studio, or is it a waste of money and you're going to just wait for the new M2 processors to come out and purchase a new Apple M2 machine? Take care, everyone. See you in the next video. Peace.